Hey, my name's Sean. Welcome to Echoes in Eternity Bourbon. What is the benefit of having a tribe?
I'm Lucky Day.
I'm Ned Niederlander.
I'm Dusty Bottoms, and together we're
the Three Amigos.
So, I touched on this in a video a little bit back on the 5 different things that I do kind of when I'm hunting bourbon, and what are some of the important things. And today is about that 8-month mark since I started the channel. And you guys have grown this channel so much. Thank you very, very much for that. But one of the things I talked about is the importance of having a tribe. And what I mean by that is people that are all kind of pushing in the same direction. They want to explore different things, learn new things. And I'll tell you, I've worked with the same company for 23 and a half years now, and I learn something new every day. And it always amazes me that there's something I could still identify and figure out after being there for so long, because it's a broad, vast thing. Same thing with bourbon. I realized that I learned something new every day about bourbons or ryes or whiskeys that just flat amazes me. And a lot of that comes from you. You guys all teach me so much, but you also share. And that's kind of what got me into this video. Is I was sitting there looking at things, and I thought, I would not have so much content if it wasn't one for you wonderful people in Tribe. And I just kind of want to go through some of that too. So if you see over here to my left, your right, these are all different samples from different people that, we've traded out samples, or they're like, look, you need to try this. This is something really good. My favorite thing is, you pound the table that this is good. You need to check it out. And I give out a lot of stuff, but I tell you what, I get it back in fold from all of you. All these awesome samples that I get to try, and that I've shared back with, I think, every one of these people. But they talk to me about stuff. You all show me different things, and you all bring me so much neat stuff that it really keeps this fun. And this is the whole point of this, is that this is fun for me. I enjoy this, I really do. But you guys bring some amazing stuff to the table. So what I was sitting there and I was thinking about it was like, how do I do a video about this? But I thought, maybe a top 10 of some of the amazing bottles people put me onto. But I kind of thought about, let's talk about this as part of the whiskey tribe, the people that help me hunt and teach me new things. And this isn't a, hey, I'm going to show off all these different bottles type of thing. This is just showing you, hopefully, that if you're have that good group of people, they can really put you onto some good stuff. It's not saying that they all got it for me. Some of them did. But it's also that they taught me about some things that I kind of left to the wayside and said, I don't know if I'll be that interested. But they pounded that table and said, you're really going to like this. Check this out. So let me get into some of this. And I'll probably call some people out by names, and I'm sure there are some names that I'll miss. And if I do, forgive me on that. But I'll go with like the first bottle. I never had an idea that I would get this. Derek, he's one of our members. He very active, in the comment section. I was actually he had done a blind sample for us, and the day before I was going to meet him for the blind sample. He lives here locally. I had mentioned that I missed out on this opportunity for the 13th Colony Cask Strength Rye. And so, I'm like, you can't get them all. It happens. So I go to meet him up, and he's like, and he hands me this bottle. I mean, and I'm like, what? He's like, no, don't worry about it. This is a great bottle. As you can tell, I've really enjoyed this bottle so far. But it's signed by their master distiller. It's a product that I really like. It was something I was looking for, and and I put it out there that, hey, I missed out on this, and sure enough, Derek was like, here, dude, you got this. I had an opportunity to actually talk with Derek yesterday. I built him up another sample pack. Super awesome dude. And we met at one of the local stores, AKA the Mistress, the bottle shop. And he actually picked up a very nice bottle yesterday. I had an opportunity for that same, at least not, I have I have one of their bottles, but it was a new batch. But I thought, they're pricey. I've already got one, but let me leave it out there for some other people maybe to get. And I always tell myself, when I got a bottle that's that expensive, I got to finish that one before I get another one. But Derek was able to pick one up, and I can't wait to hear his reviews on this. But see, this was something that, I was just talking about on the channel, and excuse all the clutter over here. There's a lot of things I wanted to share today. That it just, someone was like, hey, I'll help you out on that. And it meant a lot, and there was no expectation or obligation. It's just someone that wanted to help out this channel. So Derek, thank you for that. Another very, very similar situation. So I had, the local store again, the Mistress, was dropping a smoke wagon, one of their own barrels of rye. And I mentioned, hey, I was out of town with my daughter, didn't get a chance to get it. The thing that was disappointing me is people were flipping this on secondary. I mean, the night of it, when it dropped. But I said, I didn't get it. Maybe I'll have an opportunity in the future, find a way to trade for it. Jimmy, a member of this channel, was like, hey, I actually got a backup of this if you want it. And I was able to trade out some things, the value of the bottle. We just went by, this is what we actually paid for these things. I got him some things in return. He got this for me. And it just shows the value of being able to say, hey, I'm looking for this, and having great people that are willing to, trade out for you at the same value, which is outstanding. And that's part of that tribe. Thank you, Jimmy, on this. And I'm sure I'll have a lot of bottles cluttered up here. People are like, what the hell have you done? But that's the fun part about this. 750 subscriber winner, Eric Andrews. I'm sitting there and I'm putting together the sample pack. We're talking on the phone for about an hour. And, we're putting stuff together. And he tells me about this bottle that's local to his area. And I'm like, never heard of this. And he's like, this is fantastic. And I'm like, okay. And this is, Old Raleigh, Old Stogie cigar batch. And this actually won my cigar blind, which, I was like, I knew it was good, but I mean, I put it up with some heavy hitters, and it won the whole shebang, and I'm like, wow, this is phenomenal. So we were able to meet up and stuff and trade out some stuff. Not only did he have the Old Stogie for me, he was he had the Sagamore Spirits, which I absolutely fell in love with the other day. And I'm like, man, I've been sleeping on this. And I've had a few people tell me, you need to get on this. This is good. And I just hadn't had a chance to get into it. And, Eric was like, look, check this out. You'll really like it. So then on top of that, I hadn't even opened this yet, an Evan Williams 12 year. And I'm like, wow, so these are people that are invested, and interested. And I'll tell you what, people that have bourbon genuinely love to share. I love to share. I love to get stuff out there. And I've found that there's so many people that share so much, and that I'm like, I feel like I need to keep finding more interesting, cool stuff to share with them. But, it's amazing stuff. Eric, thank you for all these. And then, here's where the tribe helps out again, is Eric's like, Sean, I've got a backup bottle. This bottle you can't find right now anymore. I mean, it's gone. This season's gone. He says, I found a backup bottle for you. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, what are some of the things that you're looking for? And he tells me, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. One of them was a Jack Daniel's barrel proof single barrel rye. He's like, I can't find that anywhere, And I'm like, I think I've got a store. And I go to the store and they don't have it. And this is a honey hole. And I'm like, man, all these are gone already? Went to a couple other stores, couldn't find it. Put it out on one of the local pages in the area and say, hey, I'm hunting this. I'm willing to trade for it or whatever. I'm looking for this for a friend. Sure enough, Jimmy, the gentleman that got this bottle for me, you know, he was like, I've got one of these. And we talked through some different things that I had and was able to trade out something for it. And so then, you know, part of that tribe thing is I was able to get something from somebody else at a fair price for both people that we had both thought this was good for us, and then get it for somebody else who was able to get me another bottle of this, because I'm going through that first bottle really, really fast. But that's the benefit of the tribe, is I may not have something, but I may have something somebody else wants to get what I was looking for, which in turn I got. It's like a three-way trade in the NFL. I've got this draft pick, and you send me this player, and I'll send them that player to eventually get what I want. You know, so it's really, really cool when you have the tribe members that are like that. You know, and like I said, I know that I probably have better exposure because I have a channel and I talk to you guys all the time. But you know, you guys are all members of this too. You guys hunt and collect amazing things, and you just, you know, we talk at personal levels a lot of times too. And you share so much, and I appreciate that. But it's neat how, you know, someone will see something and be like, hey, I've got something like this. And you're like, wait a second, now this is going to help fill a gap because I really want to get this for this person. And it all is cyclical that way, and truly appreciate it. Bottle down here. Resurgence Rye, this is port cast finish. Gentleman goes by that Muffin Man on the channel. He gets some incredible stuff. This was super, very, very limited, you know, but him and his team were a part of making a selection where there's only a few barrels of these that were out there. He says, hey, are you interested in something like that? I'm like, yeah, what's the price on that? He's not trying to gouge me. He's just telling me this is the MSRP on this bottle. And I'm like, can I get, you know, he said, you can get two if you like. I'm like, yeah, let me get two. So I was able to get this bottle through connections from the channel, you know, just by talking with people and trading out samples and stuff over time. So I got this at MSRP. I got two bottles, and one of those, you know, went to someone that is a member of this channel and someone that contributes a lot to this channel. And so, you know, this was when Terrence and I got to meet up in July, and we're going on a bourbon hunt. You know, and the first thing that he does is he hands me a bottle. He's like, hey, I got this for you. And I'm like, oh, cool. I got this for you. And then we do some bourbon hunting in an area I've never hunted before, you know, and so he's showing me some of the areas he hunts, and I'm eternally grateful for stuff like that. But I was able to pick this up and get it to a member of this channel, and then have something for myself. And that Muffin Man, thank you very much. But it's all part of having that group of people that you can talk to and work through with things. And you guys are just amazing people. Let's see what else we got here. So, Starlight, Carl T. Hubers. You know, we just talked about how I got to hunt with Terrence and got him a bottle. He got me a bottle. Let's see if I can find it. This was actually the bottle that he got. It was the Nulu Honey Finish. So I'm handing him a bottle of this, and he's handing me a bottle of this. And as you can tell, this is really, really good. If you don't believe me, ask the guys from Whiskey Wisdom, because they've had some samples and they really love this too. Thank you, Terrence. And then Terrence, you know, he's pounding the table on Starlight. You know, you're sleeping on Starlight, and he's got this honey cast finish Starlight, and he gets this to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how have I been sleeping on Starlight so long? You know, and it's because he wanted to share and tell me that this is an excellent bottle. You're really going to like this. And, you know, he backed up his words and ended up getting it to me. I'm like, yep, this is a great bottle. You know, you talk about serendipitous or stuff like that. But the very next day, I get this other Starlight bottle. you know, and it's the cigar batch. And this is from Dave Vogelsang. So 2 days in a row, I get 2 amazing bottles from people, you know, and I can't thank you enough. It helps this channel, helps me grow too, to hopefully provide some good information to people out there that watch it. And none of these bottles I wouldn't have had except for all of you guys contributing to this, whether it's getting me a sample, getting me bottles, trading out things, telling me about stuff. Hey, have you seen this? And I'm like, no, I ain't seen that, you know, because there's not enough hours in the day to keep up with everything. So Dave, phenomenal. I get some awesome samples from you as well. Same with Terrence. You guys are all amazing that way. Thank you. See if I got what I got left in here. Oh, Jack Daniel's 10 year. So let's get both of these out of here. 10 year and 12 year. Set that over there. Move you there. Try not to drop a bunch of bottles because that would make for a lot of fun. Jack Daniel's 10 and 12 year. Very difficult bottles to get. So my brother-in-law, Dwayne, awesome guy. He's the one that kind of helped me get into this adventure. He probably didn't realize how far down the rabbit hole I would spiral, but you know, I always try to get him some great samples of things, and I'm always trying to hunt for him stuff that he really, really likes. I'm still hunting some stuff for him right now. But he always pays it forward, you know, like he hit a lottery spot in the Alabama lottery, and he's like, what do you want? I'm like, dude, this is your lottery pick. He's like, no, Sean, what do you want? So I tell him, hey, if this is available, let me know. I'll get you the money for it. And sure enough, he pulls out a Jack Daniel's 10 and 12 out of the same lottery. You know, I meet up with him, you know, 4th of July weekend. I get a couple amazing bottles at MSRP because he was willing to help me, because I've tried to hunt things and do things for him in the past. So it just tells you sometimes how it's cyclical and comes back around to you. I mean, I wouldn't have these bottles sitting here unless someone was able to help me with these, because these go on secondary pretty heavy and they're hard to find. So Dwayne, thank you very much. So it's kind of looking like that dang show-off thing, which I didn't want it to look like. But it truly shows you that even though I've got a lot of bottles, I wouldn't have the content without the tribe. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't, you know, whether it's trading out something, or you just giving me something to try and I give something back to try, or just calling me to say, hey, you know, I know you've been looking for this bottle, which is the case right here, Joseph Magnus. Jeremy Ledford, big time, you know, he's been like he was like the number 7 or 8 subscriber ever. Lives locally. We go to the bourbon drops all the time. I was looking for a Joseph Magnus forever. He's like, I got this Magnus, you know, we can trade something out, and, you know, at fair value. You know, I wouldn't have had this bottle. These go on secondary. They're hard to find. People are going to get you on it. And, you know, I've got to realize that there's only so much I can spend on secondary. But then you have people that put you on to things that you're like, okay. So I was able to pick up this Joseph Magnus at basically MSRP and during a trade on it. Jeremy, thank you very much. You know, this is part of all the wonderful things that I'm able to collect because you all ask questions, or I put things out there and you're like, hey, I may have a solution to your problem. You know, and as you see, a lot of these bottles are come off of the things that I have up here. And there's another one up there, that Proof and Wood. You know, that's another one from Terrence that I never even knew about or heard about. And he's like, hey, you've got to check this out and try this out. And I'm really getting ready to try it out again this weekend because it's opened up more. And he says, once this opens up, it gets even better and better. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll come back to the Dickel. But Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. When it hit our area, dried up like that. Jeremy, who I just talked about, was like, hey, I've got a backup of this. You know, you want to get this at the price that I got it. I'm like, absolutely. You know, and this has turned out to be an amazing ride for me. I absolutely love this. And it goes fast when it hits the shelves. But someone saw it in an area I wasn't going to be able to get to. They got it and, you know, said, hey, I can get it to you at the same price I got it for. You know, and that's kind of the reach that you can get if you have good people in your tribe, is they're in areas you're not, and they'll have opportunities and access to things you won't. So the benefit of having the tribe is sometimes they'll say, hey, I see this, you're not in that area, you want me to get it for you, and you will square up. I'm like, yeah, you know, send you the money right now, and when we meet for the bourbon drop or whatever, I can pick that bottle up. Those are the awesome type of things that occur. It's very similar on this bottle right here. This, and well, that one's about really gone. That 13th Colony cask strength, you know, this came from the tap house. I was going to a bourbon drop. We had the bourbon drop that morning. I had a bourbon tasting that afternoon. Met up with the guys from Whiskey Wisdom that evening for a little bit. But on the way, you know, someone had mentioned to me, two people had mentioned to me, they have this at the tap house. And it was like 20 minutes away from going to the bourbon tasting. So I was able to get in there and I was able to get 2 bottles. I got one for myself and one for the hostess of the bourbon tasting, you know, and it, you know, it was something that she was looking for but couldn't get. But I was like, hey, I can divert and be there 20 minutes later and see about getting you a bottle. And my whole intent was just to get her a bottle. I thought you'd only be able to get one. I was able to get 2. So I got one for myself and one for her, which is awesome. But, you know, the goal was to get this person a bottle because she was busy getting stuff at her and her husband were busy getting stuff at the house. And I wanted to make sure that I was getting something for her. But, you know, people tell you on the way, Jeremy told me this was there. You know, Tanya told me this was there. And I'm like, well, okay, well, I'm going to go see what I can get. It turned out that I got a bottle for me and her. Awesome. Awesome. You know, and then you run into some things. Let me get this big old box off the way. I'm gonna have to move some of this around, and I'm sorry about all the mess over here, but as you can see, this is all the things that I wouldn't have unless I had amazing people like you. And it really does. It fills up my bar with some very unique and interesting things. These last 2 are part of a bourbon hunt. And this was when Terrence and I talked about, you know, I was able to get this Nulu honey batch, and I was able to get him a bottle of this ASW port cask finish. And then we were hunting, and I got a Stag 22 out of that same day too. This one right here, 22A. So we go bourbon hunting. He's taking me to the places that he goes. And we picked up more bottles than that. But I mean, this Blue Note, and I haven't even opened this one yet, uncut. This is a Survivor barrel one to the first store that we went to. And I'm like, wow, you know, never heard of a Survivor barrel, but, you know, I'm a tater and I love a great story, and Blue Note does good stuff. And we get this. The next store we go to, we get in there and they got store picks galore. And they're like, hey, if you pick up a store pick, you have an opportunity to buy this Stag. And this Stag 22A won the Stag off. You know, I don't think either one of us, Terrence or myself, knew how good it was until I opened it up and tried it. And it hits my flavor profile just right on, the things that I like. And so we bought some store picks, and we each got a Stag 22A and got some other stuff. But I mean, it, you know, about blew our budget there that day. But it was someone that was willing to share with me some of the areas that they hunt that turned into some awesome stuff. And as we round out the day, you know, we're going through the last place, and he starts telling me, Dickel 15, if you can find that at over 100 proof, you're really going to like it. And, you know, and I'm like, okay. So we go to this last store, and it doesn't have a whole lot there, or things that would just kind of catch your mind and on your eye. And he looks back behind the counter, and there's the Dickel 15. He says, hey, what's the proof on that? It's right at 100, well, I think it's 100.4 proof. And he puts up on the counter, and I go to grab for it. I'm like, wait a second, you saw this. Do you want this bottle? He says, no, I want you to get it. So I'm like, dude, you spotted it. You know, you told me it was good stuff, and then you're going to let me go ahead and get it. And then he looks behind the counter. He's looking some more. He goes, oh, there's a second bottle. So we each got a bottle that day. But I wouldn't have been hunting the Dickel 15 year. I see it here at 90 proof, but he's like, look, it's something different once it gets 100 proof or more. The flavors are a lot better. Pick that bottle up. And so the whole point of this isn't to say, look at all the stuff I got. It's to say, I wouldn't have this without you. You guys are the ones that put me onto some amazing stuff. I get some good stuff. I got that. But you guys really broaden my horizons on that. And the whole point of hunting and stuff is sharing that information. You guys absolutely share. And I hope I share just as much. But I know this was a long-winded, wordy one, but I wanted to say thank you all very much. Thank you for growing the channel. Looking forward to talking with Whiskey Wisdom tonight. They'll be on later tonight. I'm sure I'll be at least in the chat saying, hey, I believe Baker Drinks comes on there tonight. So, you know, check them out. They're a lot of fun. Absolutely love both channels. Looking forward to doing something with Baker Drinks at the end of the month. And then again in September, we're going to go over 13th Colony and then ASW. Matt and Brandon, they're probably going to be doing something insane tonight. Hopefully some lazy guys involved. But you all have an amazing day. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And God bless you.